we're going to go over net metering. Net metering is the process. This is not unique just to the Florida market. This is for pretty much the entire United States, how residential homeowners, commercial businesses, and solar companies take advantage of the existing infrastructure from the utility company to provide people with solar power without the requirement of having a battery storage system to harness that energy. So I'll go over a lot more, but essentially we're going to start with how the utility company provides power to the home without solar, okay? Which most of you probably know and understand, but we'll go through it. So forgive my artistic skills here, but this is FPL's power plant, okay? FPL is creating power with dirty electricity using fuel generators in their plant to create electricity. Something we'll go over later on the utility bill is you'll actually see with FPL's utility bill that there is a fuel and a non-fuel charge for every single customer that is using FPL's electricity. The non-fuel is simply just the charges for the electricity that's being created at their power plant. The fuel charges are for the fuel that they are using and required to generate that electricity, okay? So the basic process of how to get electricity to a residential home and how it's kept track of is this. So FPL is going to create power in their power plants. They're going to send this through the lines, and before it hits the homeowner's home and runs their lights, run their AC, all that good stuff, there's a meter on the side of the house that looks something like this. That meter is going to keep track of every single kilowatt hour that is sent from FPL to the home, which is then consumed by the end user, okay? So kilowatts are being sent to the property. Every ounce of electricity that's being sent is being kept track of by the meter. This meter is going to spin in a clockwise direction, keeping track of all of the electricity that is being sent to that home, okay? Now, once this homeowner decides to take advantage of solar power, they're going to get a system installed on their rooftop, on their property by Planet Solar Solutions. We are going to go through the proper inspections, permits. The last step in this process is when FPL comes out and replaces this existing meter. They're going to replace this meter with something called a bi-directional meter, okay? Looks exactly the same as what's on the home now. The main difference is that rather than being able to only spin in the clockwise direction and keep track of incoming power, this meter will also be able to keep track of power that is being created on the rooftop of this home. So these are pretty little solar panels here. Sunlight is going to hit these panels. That electricity is going to go and be consumed into the home pretty much automatically. However, during the day when the sun is shining on this roof, for half the day, if not most of the day, this solar system, depending on how much electricity is being consumed in the property, this solar system is going to be overproducing electricity. So producing more electricity than is currently being used in this home, okay? So where does that excess electricity go if there's nowhere to store it or no batteries, okay? What is going to happen with the net metering process is that FPL is going to replace this, like I mentioned, for a bi-directional meter that when the sunlight is hitting the solar panels, the excess power is going to be sent back, bought back, whichever terms you want to phrase this as, but it's going to be sent back through the utility grid and actually spin this bi-directional meter in the counterclockwise direction, okay? This meter will not only keep track of what the homeowner is consuming in the home from FPL, it'll also keep track of any excess electricity that is being sent back to FPL and being consumed by some other customers in that neighborhood, okay? This power is not being stored or sent back anywhere to a battery. Essentially, it's going back out through the meter and kept track of by FPL, and you, as the homeowner, are due a credit for every bit of electricity that you produce through your system. You're going to get that credit in one of two ways. It's going to go against the current consumption that you're using on a daily basis in your home, or if you're overproducing, that credit of electricity will be applied at a later date when, let's say, tomorrow, cloudy, rainy day, your solar system is not producing any electricity and you have excess power left over. That'll be applied for that day or the next month or whenever it's needed. So I'll kind of clarify this a little bit. Let's say that it is the month of August and FPL sends, without solar, let's say that there would have been 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity sent to your home, okay? If in this same month of August, this customer had a solar system installed a few months back and a lot of sunshine was hitting their roof, and for that same given month, they still would have consumed the 1,000 kilowatt hours. Their electricity use is going to be the same no matter what. However, if their solar system produced, let's say, 2,000 kilowatt hours total for the month of August, rather than this customer having a utility bill of about $120, because the going rate of power with FPL is 12 cents, take 12, multiply it by 1,000, this customer without solar would have had a $120 utility bill with FPL. However, since they installed solar and their system produced a large amount of electricity in that same month, they are owed for 2,000 kilowatt hours worth of power. So once they pay and cover the amount of electricity that was consumed that month, FPL, rather than charging them $120, they're now going to be paid with electricity that they're producing on their rooftop, okay? So rather than having to pay FPL for this 1,000 kilowatt hours, this 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity is taken from what they produced on their rooftop during that given month, and you as the homeowner, or your customer as the homeowner, is actually due a credit of 1,000 kilowatt hours to be used in a future month when potentially their solar system does not produce the required amount of electricity in that month. So again, I'm not sure how close you can see this, but let's fast forward to, let's say, September. And let's say in September, it's a bad month, they don't get a lot of sunshine, cloud cover, whatever else. And let's say you have a big family party, doors open, you're using more power than usual. And let's say that your solar system, again, produces 2,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, but you in your home, let's say, use 3,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, okay? In that case, if you consume 3,000 kilowatt hours and your solar system only produces 2,000, you're short. Your solar system did not cover and did not send back to the grid the required amount of electricity necessary to offset your electricity bill. In this scenario, technically this homeowner would be on the hook for 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. Technically they would owe FPL either 1,000 kilowatt hours or they would owe them roughly $120 worth of electricity. Since in the month of August, they banked this excess credit of 1,000 kilowatt hours, rather than charge this homeowner dollars, they're going to go to their FPL bank, their net meter piggy bank, and they're going to roll this over and cover that existing amount. So it kind of, some key phrases, that net meter can be looked at as your bank. This could be looked at, like, you can explain it like rollover minutes on a cell phone. If you had, let's say, 1,000 minutes in a month to use, you only use 500, the remaining carry forward to the next month. Same exact principle here, where rather than charging the customer for this 1,000 kilowatt hours, they're going to first go to the bank of credits where conveniently this customer has 1,000 kilowatt hours left over, and then that would wipe out their liability, and they would owe $0 in electricity charges to FPL for that given month. Okay, so essentially, if you're someone that likes to use banking terms, or you're with a financial type of customer that wants to hear it explained in a different way, it's almost like a debit and credit situation as well. Whatever you're producing on your rooftop, you are owed a 1-for-1 credit for the amount of kilowatt hours that you're producing, whether that is applied in the given month directly right away, or it is applied at a later date. That is how all of our customers in South Florida and across the entire state of Florida take advantage of the net metering process, which FPL it does participate in. Other utility companies around the country, some more smaller municipal utilities, they won't do a 1-for-1 credit. They might only give you back 75% of what you produce. Down here, FPL, it's a 1-for-1 credit. Whatever you produce on your rooftop, you are owed back in full, whether that is done in that given month or whether it is done 11 months from that time. You are going to get credit, and that's why it is important for us with our design team to not only design a system to offset this on a monthly basis, we look at a calendar year, 12 months, and as long as our system is producing a specific amount of power over a 12-month period, we compare that to the customer's usage over a 12-month period, and that's how we can figure out our offset and our percentage of how much electricity that we're going to offset for this customer for a year. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. I know that I'm not the best here with the whiteboard as far as my art skills, but I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible for you guys. Essentially, rather than get electricity sent from FPL through your meter, which you owe them for on a monthly basis, your customer, the Smith family, is now going to have the Smith utility company on their rooftop. They are no longer going to pay FPL with their hard-earned money. They're going to pay them with utility and kilowatt hours that they're producing through their own power plant that is warranted by us for 25 years, that is going to provide more or less a guaranteed amount of power for them on a yearly basis, and get out of the situation with rising utility costs, unpredictability, and all of the negatives that they have with FPL, and get on to all of the positives here with price protection, control, all of those things. So great, guys. Take it in, and if you have any questions, get back to me as soon as possible. Thank you.